I completed parts 1 through 6 of the Unity tutorial on how to make the worm game and got it up and running, and have made two small changes on the way the fireballs are created and how they're handled after that. The first one being that I created a timeout so that all those fireballs that you're shooting out into wherever don't just sit around consuming resources for the rest of the gameplay until you actually end the game. And the second is to limit the ammo supply. You don't always have unlimited ammo in a game like this, so it helps enhance the gameplay a little bit to make the player think about how they're going to use their ammo. Firstly, for the timeout, on the Fireball prefab, I added a script called Fireball Timeout, and that script has one very simple command in it, and that is the destroy function, calling the game object and the timeout variable. Timeout variable just being the number of seconds after this is called that this object is to be destroyed. Game object is being inherited from the parent of this script, which is the Fireball prefab. So when the Fireball prefab gets called, it will immediately run this destroy function on itself, and it'll happen 10 seconds later, or however the GUI adjusts. I currently have that adjusted to go, I believe it's 2 seconds later. That way they get out of the way quickly. The second change was that I did go ahead and remove all the firing script from the move around file and put it in its own file called shoot, and also add a little bit of code to this so that we can keep track of basically the inventory, how many bullets we have on count. This variable holds both the starting value of number of bullets and also the running count, how many you have in your inventory to fire. This is the maximum number that you can hold, and let's see, I'll come back to this later. And this is the rate at which they refresh, because the whole concept here being that it's a little worm guy, he doesn't actually run out, he's making them, but he can't make them that fast, so we can make up to 1 per second. So what we have down here, added into this portion of the code, is a decrementer each time it's fired. So we're going to be subtracting 1 from the count in the current inventory, and also come back to this part in a little bit, as well as this, which is making sure that when it is fired, this just makes sure that if there were 10 in the inventory, the full count, that it doesn't immediately come down here and run this portion because you hadn't fired it in a while, because then you wouldn't see it actually go down. It would immediately add 1 back in, and so the count would stay the same, which is not really realistic. And this portion is the respawning part. This is adding back into your inventory how many bullets you have, and that's done by using the time to get the number of seconds in float format since the beginning of the game. So we're just stepping through that and adding an add rate of 1 second each time to make sure that that has gone past the last time plus that before we add another one. And what you're seeing here and here is this is tied into this variable, which is holding a game object of 3D text that I created, and it sits right here over the camera so that when we go to game view, it's actually always right there. So if we go ahead and start the game, we'll see that that text does actually stay there, and it gives us the number that we have. And we can move around and fire like normal, and we see as we fire, this number comes down. And I can fire as quickly as I want until I run out, and then as I'm pushing the space bar as fast as I can, I'm still only able to fire 1 per second. If I stop firing, let that regenerate, you'll see that it gets back up and I can fire out a burst again. Also, you're noticing that the fireballs are disappearing after 2 seconds. Fire 1, 2, and it's gone. Alright, that's it. Let me know if you have any thoughts, anything like that. I did just throw this code together real quick. It's not really optimized or planned out all that well. I'd love to hear anything you think about it, though.